microphone. Well. Good afternoon, guys. Hope you guys are doing great. And yeah, man, happy Valentine's, right? I think that's what's up today. So hope all of you guys are fantastic. Yo, so everybody on the live, man. Let me just send this stuff out there. Yeah, guys, how you guys been doing, man? How you guys been doing? How's been your day? How's been the new week? Hope you guys are fantastic. Hope you guys are doing great. So yeah, man. Yo, it's Valentine's Day and you guys are on the live, man. What's happening? Man, what's happening out there? What's happening out there, man? What's happening out there? But yeah, man. So guys, I think today we're gonna be having a live with Ray is like he's just laughing. Guys, what's up, man? Yeah, guys. Even doing this live, I was like, yo, okay. So I had to ask Lebogang, and I was like, dude, are you not busy today, bro? Are you not busy today? Because since it's Valentine's Day, don't you have some plans? Don't you have some plans going on? So yeah, so I'm still obviously we're gonna be doing a live today with Lebogang Lebepe, just in terms of property investment, and that sort of vibe. How to fund property, right? How to fund your property investment. I think that's what we're going to be talking about today. So yeah, I'm just waiting for him to join the live. I'm just waiting for him to join the live, and we can get things going. Yeah, but I think that's one thing. I said to my message, I'm like, my guy, it's Valentine's, man. But sure, the man is on the live. I was like, don't you have any plans, bro? But so, guys, man, let's like the live. Let's share the live. And yeah, man, you can like the live by just tapping on your screens and yeah, it's for free, right? In case you guys don't know how to tapping on your screens and that's basically how it works. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Extremely well, my brother. How are you?
Awesome, man. I saw you didn't see my message when I asked you. I'm like, my guy, do you know it's Valentine's Day?
I'm very much aware. It's just that Valentine starts after work, man. You can't go want to spend money you didn't earn.
I was like, so you didn't reply. So I was just like, I don't know. Let's just go ahead and see what's gonna happen. But I was just like, I was like, maybe we forgot that it's Valentine's Day and we're gonna be in trouble.
Far from it. Far from it. We need to make sure that we first earn, and then we can go spend.
No, that's it. That's it. But I'm just gonna share the live a few more with my networks here. Maybe it's just gonna interrupt a bit, but let me just share. It's just a WhatsApp group.
Okay, I'm all right. I'm back. I'm back. Good. Oh, it's not evening yet. It's actually afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us.
So
It's a
yeah, man.
beautiful.
Awesome, bro. So man, I don't know how much time you have. As you said, it's a tricky day today, but I guess I think guys are gonna join in But man, hey, but my guy, man, you know what? Your story, it's one of the most, inspirational stories that I've ever had
No,
personally,
thank you.
man. It's one of the
No,
most
thank you.
inspirational
Thank you.
stories, just definitely, I think it's testament to know how all of us, we just need to know that our lives are in our own hands. We are the ones who shape our
100%.
own destiny. And
100%.
man, for those who don't know, guys, I mean, Lebo here, man, he's a property developer. I mean, man, he's been doing the things, man. At 27 years old, man, he's finalized his first development, and he's just got a passion, just to, you know, to facilitate, I guess, just dignified lifestyle living, for people. I guess it's all about access at the end of the day. It's
100%.
everything just rises and falls on access, and just for previously, people who didn't have access to decent accommodation, luxurious lifestyle accommodation in the townships, and all these things, just inspired by your own story, how you obviously you grew up and just turned that into a passion. I don't know if we've got time to go into all that now, man. Or we should just, or we might not even do what we're supposed to do.
I think if we go into the story itself, it might take us an hour just to get people through it. But just to summarize it in a nutshell, just to give it a little bit of a background in summary, then one of my mentors said to me, if you don't have the time to explain it, summarize it. You know,
Yeah.
so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So not to make so basically what he was trying to say to me is that don't ever leave a room for an excuse not to do something. So if you are being asked or tasked to do something, find a way to do it. If you can't do all of it, say for instance, say what you have to do, or say it, everything that you need to say. Rather summarize it, and then come back later on, and when you have the time to explain it further, then you can do it. You can do so. So just to give everyone a background about myself, first and foremost, good evening to you guys, and thank you very much for joining us this particular evening. It's been a lovely Monday for me. I hope you guys are doing extremely well and you had a fantastic Monday. So I treat Mondays like mornings
Yeah.
of every day, right? So for me, a Monday it's the beginning of a new week. In the same way as the morning is the beginning of a new day. So I've always been delighted in the prospect of a new day, because that gives us an opportunity to still keep chasing our dreams, and making sure that we still have a chance to turn our lives and to make them what we desire them to be. So Mondays, I love Mondays. I love mornings. I'm a morning person. I used to say I'm not a morning person until I realized that I'm robbing myself of the most important time of the day, which is the morning, right? Because everything is still fresh. Your mind is still fresh, and you can absorb as much as possible. You can do as much as possible. It's in the same manner as a Monday. If you are not a Monday person, so that means that you are. So if your attitude on a Monday is like, ah, I hate Mondays. So that means that you're
Sure.
setting a tone for the rest of the week. So meaning that you're not gonna be able to have a great week if you start your week like that. So the correct mindset plays a huge role into our success as individuals, as organizations, as communities, and as a country, and as a nation, as a whole. And a huge role. Our mindset plays a huge role into making sure that we turn out to become what we really want to become. I didn't mean to get into the Monday story, but let's get into the gist of things.
Awesome, bro. Awesome, man. So I mean, obviously, how to fund, property investment. I know you did a video on that, and I was just like, okay, this is low hanging fruit. Since the meadow's already in this zone, we might, we have quite a bit, from that. So I don't know, man. Where do we start? I know you talked about 5 keys or 5 ways one can actually, fund, their property investment. But I'm just gonna let you take it away, man, and see where we can get with this.
Thing when it comes to funding your property, you need to first analyze where you are as a person, right? And because I'm a huge advocate of starting where you are and using what you have. So I'm not an advocate of start small. I'm an advocate of start where you are. So if you start where you are with what you have, so you need to really identify where you are as a person to say, this is where I am. These are the resources that I have at my disposal, and and then now explore options that you can use in helping you to fund your property investment. I mean, for instance, just to summarize my story for everyone that doesn't know, I was born and raised in a squatter camp called Temagelagofa in Tembisa. I was born and raised by a single parent, which is my mother, and I mean, we grew up extremely poor. And my mother on a good month used to earn about 2.5 grand on a good month. This is on a good month. When we made the most money, it was like 2,500 rands, and that's it, man. But she had to still make it work and make sure that we have food on the table, and she provides for us, and we still go to school and still pursue our dreams and become what we always wanted to become as individuals.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. It just the line is a bit shaky. Just I don't know if something shifted there. So, guys, we're also just gonna take questions like at the end. We can open up the questions at the end. So, I would suggest even for questions, guys, if we can
Sorry,
just open up a segment later on.
sorry,
Yes,
Henry.
Lebo.
People are just disturbing me here with calls. Let
Oh, okay. All right, no, that's fine.
me just cool stuff. So as I was saying that what if you growing up poor in a family that is has a background of poverty, so you look at such thing and you say, okay, cool, this is my dream. I want to achieve this dream, of which is going into property investment, particularly property development. However, property investment is a very capital intensive space. We're talking just to prepare the development alone, it costs a couple of millions. The rezoning process, because that's part of the preparation of the development, rezoning process takes anything between 6 to 36 months. So that process alone, it costs you anything between 500,000 to 1.5 million rand minimum, in terms depending on the size of your development. When we're talking bulk contributions, that's another couple of millions. When we're talking engineering services, your geotech report, your storm management plan. So we're talking other services that you need just to prepare the development itself, architectural fees that goes into that. So those are hefty, fees that you need to pay upfront. And there's no bank or financing house that can actually finance you to go through that preparation stage. So you look at that, you're like, okay, I don't have the millions. I don't have an uncle that can borrow me 10 million rand, that can borrow me their assets to use it as surety in order for me to get into property investment, particularly property development. And then land becomes a question now to say, hey, I don't even have access to land as an individual. So, and then you look at, once you're looking at, those are only problems, right? So you look at also the financing part. I don't have the money myself to do the actual preparation of the development or the purchasing of the land itself, let alone talking about the development cost from the construction side. And now these are the problems that you have, I had to face. And then you look at as well, you look at the skills that you need. You need engineers, civil engineers, you need structural engineers, you need people that are going to do your geotech reports for you, and you need architectures and project managers and project planners and all those skills that you need to ensure that you pull off a successful development. So I didn't have all of those people. I didn't have the money to pay them. I didn't have the land to build in. I didn't have the money to prepare the development itself. But those are just problems. But as entrepreneurs, we are here to solve problems. So every business exists to solve a problem. So if your business does not solve a problem, then you don't have a business. So you need to have a business that solves problems, and that is a problem not just to you, but to a number of people that are willing to pay you for the solution to that particular problem. So that's exactly how I look at every problem in life, to say, look, I'm here to make sure that I solutions to the problem. That's when Biz House was born, to ensure that in terms of capital, we are solving that by breaking the barrier to entry into property investment market, by doing fractional ownership, a collective investments. So collective investments is ensuring that with the little that I have, I'm able to invest in a pool that can be able to invest in a property. So that's one of the ways that you can fund your property investments. So you can do what you call collective investments. So number one, collective investments, and us at Biz House, we do that exceptionally well. That's exactly what we've been specializing in ever since the inception of our company. So collective investment, by using the little that you have, and that, remember, individually you are limited to the resources that you individually have. But if we collectively combine our resources together, we are able to have more resources that enable us to access better investment opportunities that gives us better investment returns. So that's number one. That's the number way of doing funding your property investment. Collective investment, it's not only private equity funds like what Biz House Capital has, but you also have things like your stock funds. Those are collective investments. Things like your investment clubs or investment groups. So those are collective investments. Unit trusts, those are collective investments, and also private equity funds. Those are collective investments. So that's number one. That's the number one way of you investing in property. So you can invest property using collective investments, be it private equity funds, unit trust, REITs, which is real estate investment trusts that you can use to invest in property. But that it's also capital intensive. You need to have a bit of it's actually the barrier to entry into real estate investment trust is quite high as well. So that's what we mean by collective investments. So with us, Biz House Capital, we've broken the barrier to entry to 5,000 rand per month per investor. Sorry. So from as little as 5,000 rand, people can invest in that particular private equity fund. And people can also buy shares in private property companies from for instance, on the JSE, there's a couple of companies that play in the property investment that people can buy their shares into that. So that's one of the ways that you can fund your property. So this is collective investments. Secondly, if you have a bit of money, or you've saved up some money, or you've gotten an inheritance, or you won lottery, if you're a trust fund baby. So there's
Sure.
nothing wrong if you do have, a bit of money. So you can definitely use. If you, I don't know what to say, fortunately or unfortunately, you got involved in an accident and you got some rough money. I don't know if it's an unfortunate event or it's fortunate in this case, but you can use that rough money in order for you to invest in property. So that's the second way of using, to a way to fund your property. And you then have, things like your traditional banks. So with traditional banks, there's two key things when it comes to traditional banks, right? So the first thing first, the bank will look at two things. So the bank would look at you having, your affordability is the key when it comes to you getting a bond from the bank. Secondly, it will be your credit score. So you need to have your credit score on par. So you need to make sure that your credit score is clean. So because your credit profile tells the lender how well you deal with your debt, how well you pay your creditors, how reliable are you when it comes to having them trust you with their money in order for you to pay back the money. So that's exactly what the other way that you can use to fund your property by using your traditional banks. And then there are private institutions that do fund property. So, depending on the type of properties that you're doing, and depending on the location of those particular properties. I'll give an example with one. There's a company called Tough. It mainly invests and fund people that invest in inner cities, and they have a subsidiary company or a sister company called Mastandi. So Mastandi funds properties that are in townships. So these are private institutions that do fund properties. So you can use private institutions to fund your property as well. And you then have your things like your investors, angel investors, or your private investors, or your investment firms that do invest in property. So those are five ways that one can invest in property. Collective investments, which is private equity funds. We have one. You can go to bizhouse.co.za. Under the investments tab, you can find all the details and the information that you need. You'd like to get in contact with us, the details are in there. That's collective investments, which is private equity funds, stock funds, investment clubs, and buying shares and in properties, in companies that are investing in property, or you can just invest in REIT, which is real estate investment trusts. The barrier to entry is quite high there, so you're gonna need to have a bit of deep pockets in order for you to participate in REITs. And there's also unit trusts that invest mainly in property portfolios. And so that's number one. Number two, you can use money if you have some money. And then number three, you can use the bank's money if your credit is good and your affordability is there as well. And number four, you can use things like your private institutions that do fund properties. And number five, and the fifth one that I also mentioned is investors, which is investment firms or private investors and angel investors. So those are some of the things that you can use to fund your property. But there's so many other ways to fund your property, right? So I'll just share two more. So there's what you call property wholesaling. You don't need to have money in order for you to do property wholesaling. So property wholesaling is basically becoming the middleman. You don't have the money, but you need to have a lot of time in your hand you to do so, because you're gonna need to have the time to go look for these property deals, package these property deals. You're going to need an extensive knowledge in property in order for you to be able to run your numbers correctly, and then you can then package this particular property investment opportunities, and then you connect the deal to the investor, and then what you get from that is a spread in between. So you pay a fee. You probably charge a fee of about 10, 15, 20%, depending on your negotiation and how you package and how good that deal is. So you basically go out there, source deals for investors that don't have the time, but they do have the money, and then you connect the deal to the investor. The investor pays you a fee. It's called property wholesaling. In order for me to go into details, we're going to need a whole session to break it down to details. But in a nutshell, that's what property wholesaling is. And then secondly, the seventh one that I want to share as the last, investment is called property hacking. So property hacking is when you're using your already existing property in order for you to maximize and make money out of it. I'll give you an example with one of my mentees that I literally about a few weeks ago I advised. So he came to me coming to invest in our fund, right? So he came here to come and invest in our fund, and I then we had a conversation, and he also wanted to start his own property portfolio, and he said he doesn't have enough funds. But I asked him, while we are having a conversation with him, I noticed that he said to me, I have a garage, right? And so where I have stored now most of my things in. So I asked him how big is that garage? He's like, okay, it's around 18 square meters. So 18 square meters in the township, you can charge literally 2,000, 2,400 rents in order for you to rent it out, right? So I said to him, okay, cool. How about I teach you how you can use this space that you already have without using any cent from your pocket to get money from it. He's like, okay, how do I do that? I was like, okay, do you know a storage? So there's a storage nearby you that charges 400 rands per month to store your things. So would it had to take your things, put it in a storage, and then clean the garage and rent it out for 2,000 rand.
Wow.
And in that way, you're taking the 2,000, you're paying the 400 rents to the storage house, and in that way, you are getting about 1,600 for absolutely free. You didn't have to spend any money in doing anything. Literally by shifting your things and putting them in a storage and using that space to rent it out to make money from it. In that way, you've now increased your affordability to the bank, because you now have an additional 2,000 rand coming into your bank account, and you have a valid existing lease agreement with a tenant. So when you go to the bank to go look for money, you now can prove to say you have your first tenant and they are paying you every single month into your bank account, and your affordability has went up. Your cash flow, you've generated an additional cash flow for absolutely not using any money. So that's exactly what property hacking is. So by using your currently existing structure to to use that unused space and turn it into a rentable space and then make money from it. Or let's say you're a bachelor, you're renting a 2-bedroom apartment, for instance, or you actually own the 2-bedroom apartment, and you're only using 1 bedroom and the other bedroom is not used at all. So you can actually have a tenant in that particular spare bedroom and have them pay rent to you. So that way you've already created an additional income to yourself, and you've already reduced your monthly costs to that particular property that you're staying in. So those are some of the ways one can use property hacking. So those are
Wow.
7 ways that people can use to fund their property investment. There's so many others that we can talk about. Then, but I'll for the sake of not doing information overload, I'll just end it on these 7.
Awesome, awesome, man. I know, man. Also, I mean, this is amazing, guys. So, I mean, guys, we're just gonna get into the segment now where we're gonna be, taking questions, asking you guys if you want to request to join in the live and all these things. So, what you guys need to do right now before we get into that, share the live right now. Let's like the live. Tap on your screens. If you don't know how to like the live, you can tap as many times as you can. It's allowed. Follow Lebu here. I know, on his account, his TikTok account. So follow him on social media, Instagram. I know he goes live there, with some sessions. So I mean, because I mean, this is I mean, we can't finish this in one day, man. We can't finish this in one session like this. It's a
Henry, you
continuous
must
thing.
you
But
must
what I
also
like,
let them know. You must also let them know that on my Instagram page, I actually host some interesting and incredible people that have done incredibly well in their careers. I mean, just a few days ago, last week, we had Nicolette Mashile that we host. I was having a conversation with on my live. If you go to her Instagram page, you can actually still access that live. And there's so much that we actually spoke about that you can learn about it. And then coming Wednesday, I'm actually going to be on a live session with I'll tell you just now. Hey, sorry. There's a good friend of mine that I'm going on live with this coming Wednesday, and it's incredible. It's going to be very, very incredible. Andrew Walker from the SA Property Network. So we host and we have some interesting lives with incredible people, especially on my Instagram, and that are doing extremely well. So you definitely want to follow me on my Instagram pages and ensure that you are benefiting from that. And we doing this absolutely free, hey? And we're talking people that
man, free
charge
of charge,
tens of
free of
thousands of
charge.
rands to sit down with them, and we're doing that for absolutely nothing at no cost to the public. But we definitely are there just to give back and to teach as much as possible. Uh, Sorry, to ensure that our people are empowered and they are equipped for success. So that's exactly why we do what we do.
No, definitely, man. And I'm always amazed, man. I mean, you don't hesitate to say, man, I'm going to be there on the live. We can do it. And
No,
man,
definitely.
and I really want to just thank you and appreciate you for that, man. I mean, guys, I mean, I don't know, man. It's an amazing time we have, and I think the point is, I mean, even if you're saying that, maybe I'm not in a position right now to invest in property, but the point is for us to stretch. Someone says once your mind is stretched with an idea, it doesn't go back the way it was. So that's the good thing, keep on listening, keep on, engaging, and definitely, you will get something. So Lebo, I think before okay, I've got a question myself, and guys, you can feel free, to start requesting. I know Pat also said that the session with Nicolette was on point. So yeah, man. And thank you for everyone who's commenting, who's sharing, and who's liking. But I've got a question.
Yes.
Which just has to do. I think you spoke about, I think the private institutions, right? You talked about Mastandi and all these things. So my question is that, how does it really work? First of all, how do those work? What do you need to participate in those? And but also, but I mean, a bigger question which I have really is in terms of the knowledge, because you spoke about knowledge to run numbers correctly.
100%.
Especially the issue of property. How do you get knowledge in terms of, property, man? How do you start educating yourself? I know a lot of guys here have got full-time jobs. They work where they work and all these things. How do you get knowledge, man?
All right. I think the best teacher in this life, it's actually the life itself. Practical experience will teach you more than any book or any classroom can actually do. But you won't, because when it comes to property investment, mistakes are very costly. Right. So you don't want to make a lot of mistakes when it comes to property investing because that goes with your money. So if you put your
Sure.
money in a wrong deal, it's gone. Hey, it's gone.
Or,
There's
or
no,
other people's money, worse.
or, even worse, use other people's money to put it in wrong deals. It's gone, and you're gonna be left held accountable and responsible for those particular people's money. So you're gonna have to make sure that your numbers are done correctly and you actually acquire as much knowledge as possible. That's why I'm an advocate of investing in things like private equity funds that are actually already doing it while you are actually still learning about property. But where you actually can acquire knowledge, there's mentors. And when I say mentors, ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean free mentors. I don't think those exist actually. I don't think free mentors really exist. So mentorship, the free mentorship that you can get is it's as far as this, right? Where we willingly share publicly our knowledge, but this is very limited. If you want to get yourself a mentor, you need to be willing to actually also invest monetary in order for them to take time out of their business schedule to sit down with you to talk about you, your life, your dreams, your aspirations, your goals that has nothing to do with them and their business. So, in order for them to do so, to take time out of their lives, I said lives on purpose because your life is lived within a space of time. Therefore, every single second, every single moment, it's part of your life. So, as in like now, we've taken time out of lives to come and be here. So if you're expecting someone to take time out of their family life, out of their business life, out of their personal life, and sit down with you, you're gonna have to be able to pay them for an opportunity cost. So you're not really paying them for time because if they were to measure and calculate how much are their time worth, you probably wouldn't be able to afford them. But to ensure that they also have some willingness and commitment to you, because if they come in just for free, so sometimes it sounds like they're doing you a favor. But if you've paid them, they have a commitment and a responsibility to ensure that they also deliver on their part, to ensure that they give you relevant information that will set you up for success. So you're gonna have to be willing to pay for mentorship programs, to pay for mentorship sessions, to pay for to buy books, to pay for master classes, to pay for webinars where you can sit and be educated and ask questions that are relevant and do some homework and come back and ask them more questions. So I think that's how you can get education. So that's how you can get educated, and you must do it with the people that are already doing it, people that have a track record of doing it. Because some people, the right teacher, it's very important. There's my favorite saying that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So when it comes to education, that's exactly that. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So in terms of education, that's exactly what I would say. to that. And to your first question that you asked in terms of private funding,
Institutions,
private
yeah.
institutions, which is the likes of your TAF and your Mastendi. So you are asking me a very broad question that makes it very difficult for me to answer, because you must actually give specifics. So for me, so you see, one of the most important reasons why people must pay for mentorships is because, you see, now you've asked me a broader question. I must, for me to answer you specifically, I must bring it back to you to say, okay, when you say private institutions, when you're talking about Mastendi, tell me about where you are, or what type of project you want to do, where is it located, what's the budget required in terms of that, what's the size of the project, have you thought about the return on the investment from that? What is your calculations based on? Where is the project at this particular point? Is it still on idea level? Is it now on the foundation level? Are you starting the preparation process, or have you already prepared the project? Now it's at the fundable stage. Because a project, in order for it to be funded, it needs to be at the fundable stage. So you probably don't even know what is the fundable stage. Now I have to to go down to say, this is what ticks the box of a fundable property project, and this is the fundable stage of a property development. So between zero to here, there's no bank that is going to look at you. There's no investor that is going to look at your project. There's no private institution that is going to look at your project. So you need to get it here. And so then we look at ways to get you to that. To say, are you willing to do a partnership with, say, an architect in order for you to get the drawings? You don't have the money up front, but you can sign an IOU document that you can pay them later. You know, when the project is done, the bit of sweat equity into the project itself. Are you willing to do that? So we look at ways on how we can actually assist you to get you to fundable stage, and get you the right funding partner as well. Because not every project can be funded by a certain institution.
No, definitely, man. Definitely. That's why I was asking about the knowledge, right? Because at the end of the day, a lot of us want to do a lot of things. And
Yeah.
sometimes I think business can be romantic. It can be romantic to be doing property. It can be romantic to be doing logistics and transportation or farming or whatever it is. But the point is, do you really understand the business of property? To say what
Yeah.
is it exactly, which can take you to the next level. And I think that's where I think a lot of us we do have, the desire to engage in these things. We do have the desire, but I think sometimes the issue is, that working knowledge, to say that this is actually how this thing works, and do things
Yeah.
which are
Yeah.
not as not as glamorous, like calculations. I mean, if someone asks you, where did you do the calculations? Where did they come from? I mean, man, if you are not ready, man, it can knock the wind out of your out of your stomach. You can just knock the wind out of your cells and your enthusiasm at the end of the day. So I think that's where a lot of us are. We've got this idea. We know that, okay, we want to build legacies for our children. We need to build our own assets. Like we know,
Yeah.
like we've got this awareness that, just going to work. I mean, we've seen our parents do it, just going to work, and we saw how that didn't work out, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they ended up stuck, after, if they got to that age of retirement. But now we've got this thing of saying, okay, I need to be investing in such and such, but where do I start?
Yeah. 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 No, absolutely, man. I think my biggest thing is that it's very important to learn from people that are already doing it, right? And I'll always advocate, if you're not sure of what you're doing as yet, rather put your money with the people that are already successful at doing it instead of you risking all the money. And here's the nicest thing about putting your money in already are doing it, right? So if you're putting your money with people that are already doing it, sometimes you have an opportunity to learn in the process, because now because you partnered with them, they can now teach you on an ongoing project instead of you having to learn with your money and make mistakes that are going to cost you money, and you pay school fees, because that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to pay school fees with your money, and as a result of that, that's going to be expensive and a very painful exercise for you to do. So instead of you doing that, rather partner with people that are already doing it, people that are already on the field. So that way they can give you a practical, experience and knowledge about that particular property investment or property development itself. So that way you put their money with them, and you'd say, okay, cool, I'd like to volunteer my time. I do have a bit of time, probably on the weekends, that I can help out where I can. And then they'll give you tasks and explain why they're giving you that task. And in the process, you now are learning the property investment, and the property development, process, without you having to gamble with your money. You know that your money is working in an actual project, and you can now see how it works, and step by step, because you are also involved in the process. So when you come back the next weekend, you can actually ask questions to say, okay, the last time I was here, this is where we were, this is what we did, and this is where I left it off. So where are we now? And then they will explain, okay, since you left last week, this is what we've done, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you've caught on. Now they give you tasks, and then now you can do practically now acquire the knowledge yourself. And as a result of that, you are able to have your money safely working for you, because property is one of the safest asset classes that you can invest your money in. But if it's done incorrectly, it can actually be the worst nightmare of your life in terms of your money. It can literally take all your money and put it in the drain.
Wow, wow, wow. Man, guys, I think you know what? We have been at it for 47 minutes. The plan was to end at 6 o'clock, but we can end earlier if there are no requests here. If you guys don't want to, ask any questions. I know there were some other questions typed, but
There's
I
actually
think
quite a number of questions there. Just excuse me. You can continue. I'll hear you. I just wanna plug my phone correctly there.
all right, cool, man. Cool, cool, cool. So I know there's KTP089. I think, guys, if you can request, it's much easier, so that we can just, Lebo can just be able to just address the question there and then, and there's no room for, there's actually no room for, misinterpretation and things like that. So I would say if you can request, it's much more better. It's much more better. So that we can just get these things going. All right. All right. So I'm just looking for some of these questions. All right. Okay. So so there's a question here from Clogisto84 saying we have a social club. We have a social club, so we want to invest our money. Any advice?
Come to BizHouse Capital, ladies and gentlemen. Come to BizHouse Capital. Go to bizhousecapital.co.za, download the application form, fill it in as an investment club. So there's requirements on an extra A that is attached on that, and then you can start investing with us immediately. Our internal rate of return is estimated at 16% per annum. Show me any other company that is promising you that. How much is Henry? Do you know how much is the best interest rate currently in the market?
Man, I don't know, man. That's why I need knowledge, my guy. that's why we need knowledge, in these things. That's why we're having these lives, bro. to see
Anyone,
how these
anyone,
things.
if anyone knows, drop on the comment section below. What is the current best interest rate that you can get in the market, in terms of investments? Drop on the comment section below, and or that the companies are promising out there, whether it's investment companies or I see someone is saying 10.5%. Anyone else, and please do, KTP, please do let us know the 10.5% of a minimum of how much. So I think I see Pet is saying around 10%. Best is 8 to 16%, with the minimum of how much. So because that is linked to that as well. So so that's exactly what they're currently in the market. So they'll promise you. Let me also tell them something here. So
Okay.
they will promise you the 10.5% or the 10%, but what they don't tell you is that the 10% is actually at a gross interest rate. So a gross interest rate, I see someone is saying 200 plus. Yes. So I would say a gross 10% of with a minimum of 200,000 rent investment, a gross 10% in interest rate. But then what they don't tell you is that it's gross interest rate. And on the 10% that they're promising you, they're still going to charge you fund management fees, fund performance fees, admin fees, initiation fees, and. I think the past year, the best interest rate that was in the market, it was around 2.5% net interest rate. When we're talking net interest rate, we're looking at 2.5%. And you look at inflation, how much is inflation looking at sitting at the current moment? Around 6 to 7%, right? So if you're getting net interest rate of 2.5% and inflation is sitting at 7%, so that means that the value of your money, it's losing value at a net of 4.5%.
Wow.
So that's exactly, if you put in your money where it's not performing over and above, net interest rate is not above inflation rate, then you are still playing.
Okay, I think Sogisto is asking, I didn't hear my answer. I think he said go and check out Bizhouse, right? Bizhouse.co.za. Bizhouse Capital. Is that .co.za? That's the website. I know you guys were asking where you can search. So bizhousecapital.co.za.
Yes, it's Bizhouse. Just bizhouse.co.za, bizhouse.co.za, bizhouse.co.za. You can go there, and under the investments tab, they can also get that particular. Let me actually type it in. Let me type it in here.
All right, don't put the.
Bizhouse.co.za.
Yeah, I think if you put the CO.za, it might not work. So just put the Bizhouse, I guess. All right. I've got.
So it's Bizhouse.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, is this Limadre?
It's El Madre. It's just
El
that we
Madre.
cannot use caps on TikTok. How are you? Hi, Lebogang.
No,
Hi,
awesome,
how are you?
Awesome.
I'm good. Thanks for asking. And yourself?
I'm extremely well. Thank you very much for asking.
You know what? I had put in a reminder for 5 o'clock, but I just finished with some commitment, and I wonder if, because I was actually very keen to hear some of the options that you had on the clip, Henry, in terms of the models of funding property. But I think if you can allow me to ask a question, particularly, obviously, we're now talking about funding property.
Yes.
Out of all the, I think you had about 5 options or so. I'm more on the using your own personal investment to fund property. So I'm looking at expanding my portfolio, obviously to focus on not necessarily the same um, concept that you have, but rooms again in Tembisa, but not as as how you have done them. Just as a startup, just creating a couple of rooms, etc. So I just wanted advice in terms of, I mean, if you look at the market now, obviously people are now have seen that there is a lot of investment opportunities in that area. I mean, I've checked the market last year. The average property would be at about maybe 350, from 350 to 450, 500. But if you look now, you gauge the market, you compare year on year, it's now at about 650, 700. Not because the value of the property has increased or anything else, but purely from the, I guess, a lot of people are now keen on starting this whole property business, rooms, etc. I mean, I don't know, what do you think should one look at as a first it will be my first time doing rooms. I'm more into buying property stands and selling, or converting properties into Airbnb, etc., or rentals, but not necessarily rooms, etc. So and looking as well at the I've never invested in a township. What are the because you have been there, you have been in that space. What would you say are the key things for an investor first time in the location, are the key things that one should consider? Or in terms of pros and cons, obviously there will be cons, but what are those kind of key things that you would advise one to take into account?
Okay, first question, are you buying cash?
Yes, I want to buy cash.
All right, cool. Number
So
one
that's
thing,
where the risk, that's where my risk assessment is at, to say that, do you get what I mean? Do I
I
want
totally get what you mean. I want to give you
yes.
the first advice when you're buying cash, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when
Mm-hmm.
you're buying cash, there's a lot of scammers, including attorneys themselves.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it happens. So you'd want to first thing first, you'd want to put your money with your own attorney and issue a guarantee,
Okay.
right, to the transferring attorney now. Because remember, the law says the seller is entitled to appoint the transferring
Yes.
attorney,
Yes.
right? So because of that, they've seen that as a gap for them to scam people. It has happened
Okay.
to my my mentees. It has happened to me.
Oh wow.
So we're talking a couple of hundreds of thousands. So because property is not cheap, right? So when you're buying cash,
Absolutely.
I mean you're looking at anything, 600, 700 to a couple of millions.
Exactly.
100%. So let's say, so you'd want to take your money, send it to your attorney's trust account, and issue a guarantee. Or you can actually issue a guarantee from your own bank to the transferring attorney. So if you don't trust your own attorney, you can issue a bank guarantee from your own bank to the transferring attorney. Then when they lodge, after they've lodged, so when it registers, you need to pay so that they can pay the other guy.
Okay. At least okay.
So
Okay.
that's the
Yeah.
first thing. So that's on the money side, right? So now when it comes to the actual development side, so there's a lot of what they call in the townships, they call them unauthorized structures. In simple terms, it's illegal structures that don't have building plans.
Yes.
So when you are an investor, especially in the property industry, you're not only thinking about yourself, but because you're building a legacy and you're going to leave these properties to your kids, you don't want to leave them with a problem.
Yes.
So you're going to want to do things right according to book and make sure that there's no, there's no consequences that might be left with them. Be it you need to have your approved building plans in place.
Okay.
Because if you don't have those, the building inspector can instruct you to demolish at your own cost. If they take you to court, you'll be liable for their legal costs and your legal costs, and you still be liable to demolish at your own cost. And if they demolish on your behalf, you
I
need
can't
to
hear you
pay
anymore. I
them
don't know if it's
for.
on my side, but the network, I think, is a bit messed up.
I can hear. Henry, I can
I
hear
think
him.
Henry,
I can still hear.
I think it's your network, Henry. Because even from our side, you keep on fading a bit. Yeah. So from that point, so if they demolish, you're gonna have to pay them for their demolition cost. And if it's done by our, I'm afraid, and I'm sorry to say this, but if it's done by our government, their pricing are not as normal as our own pricing that you would normally pay. Right. So you can imagine what will happen to your costs to demolishing. And this is, you're losing your investment, you're paying additional costs, and at the end, you're going to also be liable to pay for a fine.
Oh, okay.
And if you can't pay that fine, you might end up serving a jail time, or even both. You pay the fine and there's some jail time. So it might not happen in our lifetime, but what if it happens in your kid's lifetime? So you don't want to leave them with that kind of problem or a potential problem. So that's why you're gonna have to do things right. So backrooms are classified as unauthorized structures, especially those that don't have. We know that there's a lot of those that don't have building plans. Yeah, people just go on and just build. Most of them, they've also built on top of servitude pipes. On top of services, and when now there's a block in that sewer pipe, and sometimes structures are demolished. It's only then they get into trouble. So to avoid such things, you're gonna have to do things according to the book, right? So there's ways.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Can I ask a question on that point? That's a valid point that probably I didn't apply myself on. But looking at the area, I mean, I just looked at some of the places. What are the probabilities, obviously, for the owners? I'm now going to assume that the people that are residing in those houses are the owners. What are the probabilities that those people still have house plans? So then it means that in the absence of that, you still need to bring in your own architect to come and actually draw a layout of this, and then depict the extension, etc.
So when it comes to original houses themselves, before extensions, those plans they exist in all of our municipal offices.
Okay, you think the deeds office, because I know that the deeds office
not the deeds office. The deeds only deals with the registry of the properties, but the municipal offices themselves, the local municipal offices, they are the ones that has access. Your town planning division in our local municipal offices, they are the ones that have it, not the deeds office. The deeds office only deals with title deeds and registry of these particular properties, the bond on that, interdicts and stuff like that.
Yes. Okay, so the record, thank you for that information. On the first point, before you move to the third point, can I ask a question on the first point of the manner of issuing guarantees and payment? Okay, actually I was just thinking about it, that I think the same might apply, because I was thinking that maybe the risk, if you shift the risk to the banking institution, meaning don't fund this from your investment, but rather bonded. But again, although you I think it's actually still the same, because I know people who are still paying bonds for 10 years and they're not even residing in those houses, because um it's either the agent has, I don't know what's going on, the agent has ran away with the money, and the people that are in the house, they don't want to evict, etc. So those are some of the things that I'm also worried about, in terms of, can I actually even transfer the risk? It doesn't sound like I can transfer the risk, except having to safeguard my investment through maybe that proposed option of a guarantee, but also ensuring that the people that are currently occupying the house, they are not tenant, or they are not by pay, or they must be the owners of the house, because else I will also end up being in trouble.
So when it comes to that, so when you sign your offer to purchase, so there's a clause of occupation. So when do you take occupation? So you can take it upon registration, or you can take it prior to early occupation and pay occupational rent. So occupational rent is normally 1% of the selling price.
Mhm.
So if it's R1 million, you're gonna have to pay about 10,000 rent to the owner, while the transferring attorneys are still busy with the property transfers.
Mm.
Or you can opt for at registry, upon registry. So upon registry, so they need to, so according to the law, they must give you a property vacant.
Yes.
So if it's not vacant at that particular point, they need to pay you occupational fee, and then you must now, you can then do eviction. So you need to now apply for eviction orders and stuff like that.
Yeah, that process I don't like, because you also know that the law says that if you evict people, you need to give them an alternative accommodation, etc. So
Not
it's a
all the
dirty
time.
process.
There's ways around it, but that's a
Oh,
subject
okay.
of another day.
Oh, yeah. There is, yes, that other way. There's another way.
Yes.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Yes, no, you're right.
there's
That can be
other
a
ways,
better way.
there's other ways around you going about eviction, and this is within the law though. There's other ways the law still gives us, because they know that there are people that abuse, they abuse
Yes.
the law. So if you can prove that they are abusing the law, then they can evict them. But that's a it's an extensive thingy, subject that we can talk about at some other time.
That will be interesting. All right. On the third point, the development side, what are your advice?
On the development side, sure. Do you have a reliable development company, contractors, project managers, engineers, professional teams, from architects to engineers to project managers to contractors, and up until you're done in terms of that. And are they construction companies that you use, are they insured,
Okay.
in terms of the risk that is associated with the construction process itself? Um, you know, um, so you're gonna have to ask yourself such questions as well.
Interesting. That's really really interesting. Yeah. So you need to establish that they have some. Do they call them? Do they also use fidelity insurance, or they have a different type of insurance? So will this insurance
It's
covers
called
what?
construction. It's called construction insurance.
Construction insurance, and that
Yes.
insurance covers what? What does it
The
cover
risk that
me
is
against?
associated with construction, be it an injury at work, be it structural defaults or natural disasters that can happen during the construction process and stuff like that.
Interesting. So until the handover, and that's where your what do you call it, the NHBRC whatever will then
Yes,
cover me
NHBRC
for workmanship.
certificate being issued, the plumbing certificates, the COC in terms of electricity, the structural engineering stamp on the plan itself, and if there's levels to it, you need to have an engineering stamp for the slab itself, the roofing, a certificate in terms of the roof, and also the overall dwelling certificate from the building inspector himself from the municipality to say this is safe for you to go in. All the reports are in place. Everything has been approved. Everything has been done up to standard. So now you can, here's your dwelling certificate. You can get in and now start occupying the place.
Wow, this is so complex. It's not as easy perhaps as
that's why you
some
must
of us
just take your money and bring it to Biz House. We'll do that. Like we literally are simplifying this whole process. We're saying, bring the money to us. We know what to do with it. We've dealt with the process. We are doing the process. So you don't have to worry about all these things. We worry about it. All you need to do is just worry about getting dividends. You owning share certificate anyway in this fund. So it's not like you don't have ownership to these properties. We do have ownership. It's just that you don't have to deal with the stress that comes with it.
Yeah, the risk is with Biz. Is it Biz what?
Biz House. It's BIZZHOUSE. Biz House.
Okay. All right. I will definitely look at your profile, and I will probably have to come in and to your offices and just engage more on the subject, and let me just weigh my options. But you're right.
Drop me your contact details. I'll personally be in touch.
Okay. How do I do that?
Let me see.
You can
I
follow
you already. I already follow you. Oh,
okay.
But I followed another account. Which one is this one now? Okay. I'm following you.
I've just followed you now.
Okay, then I can then DM you.
Yeah, I just followed you now. You can DM me your contact details. I'll personally be in touch with you tomorrow, and then we can engage further.
Perfect. Henry, thank you so much for the platform. This is definitely beneficial and yeah, to some of us who are trying to, I don't know, I guess try to build a legacy and try to understand certain things. And Lebogang, thank you so much for engaging with me. Much appreciated. So looking forward to keeping in contact with you from tomorrow. 100%. And let's unpick this and ask you a lot of questions. Yeah, lots and lots of questions.
Thank you so much for coming.
No, you're welcome, dude.
I really appreciate it. It was actually eye-opening for a lot of people. You asked relevant questions, very important, and I'm glad you did.
Thank you. And I have a lot of questions. It's just that I can see that Henry's very tired because I was hoping that I will make the 5 o'clock.
No,
there's this matter of Valentine's Day.
It's Valentine's Day today.
It's Valentine's. We're already in trouble, guys. I already see some messages coming on my phone here. I'm already in trouble. I need to go.
Now we're already thinking construction, Henry. We don't even care about the red roses. We are thinking cement and water and roofing.
Guys, I've already put myself on the line. I've showed my commitment to the cause.
No, absolutely. No, thank you so much. Thank you kindly. Appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. So here I just got Kolis is saying that can you please save the live on your YouTube channel? All right, I'm going to save the live on my YouTube channel. Success Inspiration. The link is in the bio under my link tree, so you guys can go check it out. We're doing other things as well. I went out to a rabbit farm in Rustenburg on Friday. I filmed some stuff, so you guys can go see it there. But yeah, man, I mean, it's all in the sense of opening our minds, right? But this 100%. One question from Boss Lady. She was saying that, good evening, guys. Can I get some help? I bought a house when it rains, it gets flooded. The owner hid this problem for me. Now I'm helpless. I don't know, in a nutshell, bro. I don't know, is there help here? Are they just to go to attorneys? What needs to happen?
So
we can be on our way.
my question is, when was that property bought? Right. So there's a new law that just came in from now in February, right? So was it bought before or was it bought after? So if it
I
was
think that's
bought
the thing.
before, so the new law, it says that there's an annexure, a document where it's what that declares,
It's
it's a
last year
declaration of.
July. Last year
Yes,
July.
it was last year July. So the property was bought last year July. So unfortunately, that law was not effective as yet at that particular point. So it's a he say
He
she
said, she
says
said.
type
Yeah.
of, yeah, he says she says a type of thing. So now that's where attorneys come in. However, so she must weigh her options. Does she wants to spend money with attorneys, going to court and fighting a battle that she might not win, or she can spend money on now doing rectifying the structural defaults of this particular property, and putting in place that these problems are to be solved. So there's a someone is actually quite right. There's a clause that says footstood, but the footstood contract, it still has a declaration annexure from now February going onwards. There's a declaration annexure that the owner needs to declare all the defaults that he knows or they are aware of as per the property that they're selling to you. So if it was last year, July, unfortunately, that footstood will stand in court.
Sure, sure, sure. Hey, man. So yeah, so I think definitely hey, these things, man. But I mean, this is the business of property, right? Which we were talking about, the knowledge
Yeah.
and all these things that you need when you're navigating the space, man. Hey, Lebo, man, thank you very much, my brother. I mean, I can't say much. I can't say much. All I can say, just say thank you, for always just being available, to empower us, to open our minds when it comes to these issues. So, man, I think, guys, we're gonna leave it here, and we're gonna call it a day. If you want this live, I'm gonna just save it because I know TikTok allows us to download these lives, and I'm gonna just post it on my YouTube channel. The link is in the bio under the link tree, the Success Inspiration one. So yeah, man. So hey, Lebo, thank you very much, guys. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for sharing, liking, and everything. And yeah, join the Success Inspiration WhatsApp community group for notifications. Next time, Lebo is generous to share. We'll let you know. We'll let you know. But thank you very much, my brother. That was awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Henry. And thank you very much, everyone, for joining us this particular evening. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I really enjoyed engaging with you guys and sharing the knowledge. Don't forget to follow, click that follow button. Make sure that you follow me on TikTok, Instagram,
Instagram.
Facebook, Twitter, also on all social media platforms. I'm there and I'm sharing knowledge all the time. So if you want to learn more about how to build a great business, how to build a successful business, how to build a property portfolio, how to build a successful team, how to just build a successful life itself, make sure that you follow me on all my social media platforms, especially on Instagram. I host some incredible human beings there that come to my lives there. So we are going to be hosting Andrew Walker on Wednesday, 12 p.m. So you want to be there. He's such an incredible human being. He has done some incredible things. He's very successful. He's the founder of SA Property Network. So he has done some incredible things there in that space. He has a program where they actually host awards for property investors, and he has just done some incredible things in the property investment space, man. You'd want to hear more from him and to learn from him as well. So we host some incredible people that we have, we are working with, or some of our colleagues and our associates in the industry, and people that are just doing some incredible things in the country and are willing to share their knowledge and to be generous enough to spare some moment and ensure that they teach you and they give back as much as possible, even within their business schedule. So you'd want, especially Instagram and Facebook. At Facebook, I share a lot of knowledge in writing, and TikTok is just videos here and there, but mostly Instagram and Facebook. You want to follow me there because that's exactly where I dish a lot of knowledge there. Ladies and gentlemen, it was lovely engaging with you. Don't forget to buy your shares. You have until the 28th of February, 5 o'clock. We are closing this the offering to the public, so you'd want to buy as many shares as possible. It's 1,000 rand per share. You can buy a minimum of 5. You can buy up to 40,000 shares, which is 40 million rand. You are limited to 40 million rand per investor. However, you still have a chance to go buy as many shares as possible. By the 28th of February, we are closing this off. Don't forget to go to www.bizhouse.co.za. That's exactly where you can get these shares. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Lebogang Lebepe and I'm signing out. Thank you very much. Thank you, Hendrik.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro, man. Thank you, bro. Hey, guys. Hey, love you, man. And I don't know, you guys, don't you have Valentine's? But anyway, goodbye. Cheers, guys. See you on the next live. But follow the Success Inspiration, WhatsApp group. Just follow, guys, and there are gonna be more of these. Thank you, bro. Cheers, eh?
Cheers, man. Have a good one.
Bye.
Enjoy your Valentine's, man.
Hey, let me try, man. Let me try. First, I need to cool someone down first. But anyway, cheers.
All right. Cheers, man.